Hey, how you doing? This is Kitch, and you are watching me play Factorio. I have a little bit of a confession to make as I start the beginning of this video. This is not the first time that I've recorded this episode. Actually, this is not the second time that I've recorded this episode. This will actually be time number 3.5. I've been having some audio issues, and I'm not sure what's going on. The last full episode that I did was basically 36 minutes, and there was absolutely no voice being recorded, which some could argue would actually increase the quality of the video quite significantly. I'll just leave that there. But I guess the good news is that I feel somewhat prepared for this episode. I kind of know what to do. I feel like I've had a couple of practice runs. And some may argue that that may actually drop the quality of the video, or at least make it a little bit more hysterical as we get into the mistakes that I'm getting ready to make. But either way, I think I think I know what I want to do. Let's just put it that way. So I did some math in between episodes a couple of times, and came to some numbers on this, and somebody else did a little bit of math too in the comments of the last video. Cornosian, thank you very much. We came to a little bit different numbers, but the idea is pretty much the same. Cornosian got, if we do the direct insert, he said it's about 3.1 red belts that we would need transporting stuff around our sushi setup in order to get our 60 purple science a minute. My number was a little bit higher and a little bit more pessimistic, probably, which is reasonable. But I got about a 3.3-ish. And basically what I did to get that number is basically take our red science from the Factorio calculator right here. Purple science right here. Did I mention that I've practiced this a couple of times? The purple science from the Factorio calculator. And took the belt calculation here. Actually did this on a spreadsheet, so it was a tad bit more accurate, or less, depending on how you look at that. But basically took the belts that we needed and totaled those up, taking away things like the copper ore and the iron ore. The things we're going to direct insert, like the iron sticks and some of the copper wire. And, of course, like, you know, taking away the iron, because some of this is actually used for the steel production. That's going to give us that little window right there. But just making those little things and then adding all this stuff up. And then taking the petroleum and that number 4,000 divided by 50 because that's how much is in a barrel. And then dividing that by 1,800, which is the amount of items that can go through a red belt. But getting all that, basically totaling it up. And that's the number I got was 3.3. But I did another calculation as well because that's what I consider like a pessimistic look at it. I got to looking through some of these things. The whole idea behind a sushi setup is you're using the same belt and items are constantly getting compressed. And what I mean by compressed is we're taking the items and making them into other items. So while, you know, we need 0.12 red circuits or 200 of those going, that is going to get compressed down into productivity modules that take 5 of those. So it's going to push that down. So the 0.2 of the productivity modules includes some of these or yellow. Or did I mention that I've practiced this? The productivity module belt space is basically considering some of this. So some of these circuits are actually in that 0.2, as well as some of the plastic, as well as some of the green circuits, as well as some of this copper, as well as some of this iron. So just by taking that into account rather primitively, I got a number at about 2.6 belts that we're going to need. Long story short, I don't think this setup is going to be anything but silly. Not that it wasn't silly before, but it's going to be even sillier now. So I think we can go ahead and get rid of that and go with something more like this. Now, I think 3 belts is going to be enough. I may end up regretting that, but I think it'll be fine. So let's go ahead and just basically set this up for 3 belts by taking a lot of stuff away. And I think that'll be a good template to get us started. Let's go ahead and run some wire going along because we're going to need a little bit of that. The inserters that are grabbing stuff are going to need some red wire. The inserters that are dropping stuff off are going to need some green wire. You guys are going to want to read your hand contents, and we want to set some condition, some item less than some number. So we can go ahead and prime those with that logic. These will be set to none, and we just want to read the hand contents because these are going to be our subtractors. Nothing that we haven't done before, just a little bit of a different setup. And we can go ahead and take this, and we should be able to just copy this on down to move that logic further down. And I think we can use this template right here. Now, we're going to have to modify some special cases for some scenarios that we're going to run into, but that should be fine. We'll go ahead, we'll roll the intro, and we'll get right into doing that. All right, so the first thing we're going to need is we're going to want to do some direct insert. And this particular setup right here doesn't really lend itself to doing direct insert, at least in a way that keeps it somewhat reasonable. And let's just run a power pole up here, if we can, just to get rid of the blinky blinky, because that's going to drive me nuts. Okay, so we're going to need a couple of direct insert setups. We're going to need one up there. We're going to want one right here. And we're going to want another special setup that we have to deal with down here. So let's just go ahead and make a little bit of room for that. Okay, so our first direct insert scenario is going to be with green circuits. We're going to want to direct insert-ish some wire into those. So they're spaced in such a way where we can't actually do a direct insert, but I think if we were to do something like that, just have a little independent belt running right up here, I think that would be good for us. I think that would actually work. I think the throughput will keep up with it. We'll need to make some modifications here because we're not going to want to send any copper wire out, so we can take the output inserters out of those. Same for these guys. And yeah, those machines will just be dedicated to that. However, it's not going to be quite that simple because, let's see, that machine and that machine are going to be the same. It's actually going to be a block like this because it's a 1.5 to 1 ratio of assembling machines making copper wire to the green circuit. So it's actually going to, a full block of it is going to look more like this. And I think that'll work out okay. And we just need basically 3 sets of these because we need 6 green circuit makers working on that. Our other direct insert scenario is going to be kind of the same, but just a little bit different. You are going to make railroad track, iron sticks, and railroad track. And then we can take that guy right there, move it going that way, move it going that way, and I think that will substitute as a maker. We need to take away those inserters because they're not going to be inserting out onto the line. They're only going to be going there. And you guys are going to be taking stone and steel off of that line and putting your tracks out there. I believe that will work. And you guys down here, I wanted to just expand this out because this isn't going to be a direct insert situation. Well, it kind of is, depending on how you look at it. But we need to make some barrels, some petroleum barrels. We need to unpack those and then take this petroleum and send it out to chemical plants. And I don't have chemical plants, but we need some. We need 4 of those. So we can go ahead and take those out because our plastic makers are going to be right through there. Now, this isn't optimal with what I've done. And I came up with a clever-ish way to deal with this. Let's see if I remember what that was. Okay, we put our chemical plants down. Those are going to be like that. We'll do something like that. We'll take this inserter out, and we're going to need to basically pipe this stuff to these 4 plastic machines. Okay, so what we can do is take our pipe out there, move you to there, take out that power pole kind of temporarily. We're going to need some more undergrounds. Take out that power pole temporarily. Flip you around, and we can connect that right there. And connect that right there. And that gives us our pipe feeding all 4 of those machines. Ooh. And we'll have to do some power pole adjustments here. And I'm not particularly pleased with that, but I think it'll work. We'll just go with that pattern there for those. Something's got to give because we have those pipes in the way. Can we move that? You know, there's no sense in being sloppy. All right, I think that'll work, and that leads us to a problem with empty barrels. The empty barrels are going to favor this belt and this belt, which isn't optimal. What we can do is that right there for that machine, and that will send those guys out that way. Now, you are a special condition in that you don't need to read hand contents or anything like that. You're just going to dump stuff out. You technically don't even need to be hooked up to the network. So yeah, we'll just throw those out. We do want to read the coming out, but we don't care about what comes out. And you guys have all your ins. You have all your outs. That should work just fine. All right, now I think that is all the special cases that we're going to have in this setup. So I think we just need to basically expand everything out. We're going to need 6 of these setups. Or 6 green circuit machines, so basically 3 of these setups. Being a tad bit more accurate there. We're going to need 2 of these setups. We're going to need 4 of the railroad track makers, and that is our plastic supply down there. And then we're going to need some other things. Many other things. And I just want to go ahead and place these down. We're going to need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is going to be for purple science. need 10 of those machines. And I'm just going to go ahead and place this one and set it to purple science, so we know that that's what that is for. Then we're going to need, I forget the number already. Let's take a look here. We're going to need 3 of these electric furnace makers and 7 of the productivity module makers. So let's see, you're going to need to be electric furnaces, as are you, and the rest in this line are going to be for making productivity modules. I think we can remember that. Let's see, we got the green circuits, we got the plastic. We're going to need some copper makers, copper wire makers. We are going to need 5 of those. So let's copy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 machines. Oh, did that? There's a tree in the way. There we go. What am I hearing? I'm hearing worms. Where worms? Oh, those worms. Oh, the ones we just left there. Okay. Someone had mentioned in the last video that they were getting close. I concur. I concur with that opinion, given the evidence that I have seen. What was this? I'm lost. Oh, it was wire makers. We need 5 of those. 3, 4, 5. Let's see, productivity modules, 3, 4. Is that accurate? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes. Okay, and, yeah. Boy, I don't want to mess with, anything over there anymore. I don't want to play over there anymore. Let's see, what else are we missing? We have our railroad tracks. We have our green circuits. We have our iron stick makers. I believe that is it, with the exception of the red circuit makers. And that is going to be a thing. We need a couple of those. We need 1, 2, 3. So that would be 30, but we actually need 27. Yes. So we can actually trim off 3 of those. All right, that looks good. We can continue to let this stuff build. And I believe that is going to be all the machines that we need. This is our template up here, so we can go ahead and take it out. Mainly because we probably need the extra assembly machines, because I think we are out. No, we've actually got a couple of them left. But I think that is all that we need in order to get this to occur. And yes, I do know it's in a very ugly situation right now. That is 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, if we count the chemical plants. 78. Our longest row is 15. So 78, If I recall, the math I looked up, and the first time I recorded this, I believe that is going to be... I believe 13 is a factor of 78. Which isn't necessarily optimal. All right, so let's think about this. I think we want... Do we want to just start off with this? I think I generally like to start off with the petroleum. So this will be our line here. There are 5 of these, and unfortunately, none of these are size 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those are groups of 5. These need to be... Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if we cut this off... actually, a new territory now. I never made it this far in the previous episodes because I was too busy fooling around with other things. So we're exploring new territory here. Okay, so that would be 10. And if we grabbed one of these... and put you there, that would be 13, if I am not mistaken, and I am not. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Interesting. If we put you two together, put you at the top. Let's turn robots off. Well, let's leave them on. Oh, they're all out of charge. Sorry, guys. And then we could take you and get you on the end of this one. That would be another block of 13. All right, and let's see, 6. Trying to think on calculations here. We could use like a wire maker here. And then we would want a group of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is really hard with all this red stuff, but I believe pasting this stuff down, it's going to remember. Not that it really needs to, because I could probably go through and just leave everything and cut and paste the the items that are being made. That would probably make a lot more sense. Maybe getting a little better robots action happening as well would be a good thing to maybe consider. Well, I think we actually need. I think we're as good as we can get right now without the purple science. So never mind. As you were. Okay, you are going to be the red circuits. 3, 4, 5, 6. One wire machine will support that. And yeah, I don't think we need all these. This is all silliness. That was just used to get the main count. All right, we could take this block right here and move it on down. And we should be 1 over, and that is true. We are. So yeah, let's pull that out. This is just a big mess. You following this? Okay, so that's going to be 2 wire makers. And 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Two rows of these. That'll give us 22. And yeah, let's just go ahead and copy these, and we know what we need. We can just copy and paste this stuff down. So that should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That should be 22. We needed 27, and I forget how many wire makers we needed. 5-ish. So if we made that, can you copy from a factory that is not built yet? The answer to that appears to be no. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's our 5 wire makers. 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. That should put us in good shape then, right? Okay. Then next we need 7 of the productivity modules. We'll go ahead and do those. Might as well, since we're making all the circuits here, might as well go ahead and suck them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, that's going to work just beautifully. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7, which I believe is what we need of those. We don't need you anymore. This is going to move on up 1. Actually, we might want to get that closer. There's no reason to get it closer. Just as long as it's spaced evenly where it looks nice. That is what is important. Yeah, I hear ya. And this is going to be pretty much a straight shot here. Nice and even-like. We just need to set those up. We'll have these 3 right here making the furnaces, and the rest of them will be the purple science. Now, one problem that I did not look into, one thing I have not accounted for, is the fact that this is not set up for a sushi setup because all the belts are facing the wrong way, so some of these are going to be reversed. But I think that is actually our setup. I hope it's right, because it doesn't look big enough. It doesn't look big, a lot bigger than what we had up here for the blue science. I seem to remember those being a little bit exponentially larger, but I could be mistaken. That has changed a little bit. All right. Okay. I think this is what we're going to want. We're going to want to take things like this and take it and basically flip it like that. That was not quite right. Oh, yeah, okay, I remember this. It's either the power poles line up or the factories line up, and you can pick one of those. I think we'll go with power poles lining up. I probably could have ran the power poles differently to make them line up better, but I have not done that. Okay, so you're going to flip, then you're going to go back. You're going to flip. You're going to go back. And you, right here, are going to flip. All right, so yeah, a big ugly mess right here, but I think eventually this is going to work out, and then we could just go through and hook these sides together, something like that. And maybe even put a little bit of lane balancing in between those. That always seems to help. All right, well, I'm going to build this out and probably get some more things that we need. I'm sure we probably need some inserters, possibly some assembly machines. We shall see. What has happened to the wire here? Oh, boy, I have to go through and check all that as well. One of my favorite things to do. All right, thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. Hoping the recording takes this time. I don't know. We'll see. Thank you again, and I will see you in the next episode. Have a good one.